Welcome to Surya's Life Science. Today in this video lecture we're going to discuss about the role of minerals in human body. Before going to the main concept of the video, don't forget to subscribe to our channel and click on the bell button for instant video updates. So let's get in. First of all, what are minerals? Minerals help your body grow, develop and stay healthy. The body uses minerals to perform many different functions, from building strong bones to transmitting nerve impulses. Some minerals are even used to make hormones or maintain a normal heartbeat. So for example, if you take calcium, it is very much important for the transmission of nerve impulse, and phosphorus and calcium together are responsible for the strength of bones. So these are some of the examples I can give now. Let us discuss about the minerals in detail now. The minerals, if you see, they are divided into two types: bulk minerals and trace minerals. Bulk minerals are found in huge quantities, that is in grams and milligrams in our body, and trace minerals are found in micrograms and nanograms, sometimes in milligrams in our body. So this is a difference between bulk minerals and trace minerals. The bulk minerals are nitrogen, phosphorus, chlorine, sulfur, sodium, potassium, magnesium and calcium. The trace minerals are iron, copper, zinc, selenium, iodine, fluorine, chromium, vanadium, magnesium, cobalt and molybdenum. So now we are clear with what are minerals, what are the types of minerals. Now let us discuss about each and every bulk mineral in detail. The first bulk mineral we are going to discuss about is sodium. So what is the source of sodium? Dietary source of sodium. If you see, ham, that is beef, bacon, that is pork, cured meat are the very good source of sodium, along with sodium glutamate and sodium chloride. The content of sodium in human body is approximately 1.4 grams per kg. That is, if you take a kg portion of human body, it will contain about 1.4 grams of sodium. The daily requirement of sodium is 1.7 to 6.9 grams, and the deficiency of sodium may cause hyponatremia. It can result from underlying conditions such as drinking too much of water or taking certain medications. So we must be very careful while taking certain medications and over drinking of water. What will happen if we take excessive amount of sodium? High sodium consumption can raise blood pressure, and high blood pressure is a major risk factor for heart diseases and stroke. And what is the role of sodium in human body? Sodium is the main cation of extracellular fluid required to maintain the electrical neutrality and ionic strength. So if you see, there must be an electrical neutrality in the extracellular fluid in which the sodium is present as a main cation. If the extracellular fluid is predominantly positive or predominantly negative, then it may lead to unwanted ionizations. Something may even become fatal to the human body. So the electrical neutrality of the extracellular fluid is mandatory to be maintained. And the ionic strength of each and every ion is very much important for the interaction between the macromolecules. For example, glucose, fructose, etc., and other such kind of macromolecules present in our human body. The uptake of glucose and amino acids by the intestinal brush border cells is coupled to the simultaneous entry of sodium. So if you see, whenever a sodium molecule enters the cell with the help of a transport protein via facilitated diffusion, it also brings glucose along with this. This entire system is called as the sodium glucose transporter. So sodium plays an important role in the transport of glucose inside the cell, and this excessive sodium is pumped out with the help of sodium potassium ATPase. And next, if you see, because of the smaller size of the sodium only, it is easily pumped out of the cell, and intracellular environment of the cell contains low sodium amount compared to that of the extracellular environment. So that's all about sodium. Next, let us discuss about potassium. The dietary source of potassium are egg, liver, milk, peas, orange, potatoes, bacon, butter, chocolate and coffee, etc. The content in human body is about 2.0 grams per kg. The daily requirement is about 0.8 grams. The deficiency of potassium may lead to hypokalemia. A low potassium level can make muscles feel weak. The most common case of genuinely high potassium is hyperkalemia, is related to your kidneys, such as acute kidney failures. So we must understand one thing: whenever a person is affected from chronic kidney related ailments, the doctor will advise them not to eat bananas, because bananas are very rich in potassium. And what about the role of potassium in human body? Intracellular potassium neutralizes acids and maintains cellular atmospheric pressure as well as ionic strength. We have already discussed about ionic strength. So what is osmotic pressure? Osmotic pressure is very much important in the process of osmosis because molecules travel from a lower osmotic pressure to higher osmotic pressure. By applying osmotic pressure to a particular solution, we can even control the osmosis process. The intracellular potassium is very important because it has a larger ionic radius and smaller hydration energy compared to that of sodium. So what is the importance of hydration energy? Hydration energy is nothing but the energy required for the hydration of an ion. Since our human body is a water rich environment, this hydration energy, the smaller hydration energy of potassium compared to that of sodium, is very much important. And if you see, the nutritional value of potassium over sodium arises from the lower polarization of water and ligands by potassium and its non-competing nature for active sites of enzyme. So potassium, if you see, has lower polarization properties over water and other ligands. For example, let us take the structure of molecule of water. It has oxygen at the center and two hydrogen atoms around it. This is the shape of a molecule of water, the bent shape. This is called as the bent shape. Actually, the water molecule is not polarized by itself, but it can be made polarized by the interaction with other ions and molecules. And a polarized water molecule may create unwanted ionizations. So it is better to have a lower polarization of water, and that is better done in the presence of potassium. And also, if you see, potassium has a non-competing nature for active sites of enzyme. Potassium, being a monovalent cation, is not going to compete with calcium and magnesium, which are divalent cations, which are used as a cofactors, metallic cofactors in enzymes. So that's all about potassium. Now let us discuss about magnesium. The dietary source of magnesium are cereal products, potatoes, vegetables and fruits. The content in human body is about 250 milligram per kg. The daily requirement of magnesium is about 300 to 350 milligrams. The people with alcoholism are at an high risk of magnesium deficiency. Excessive intake of magnesium may lead to fatigue and low blood pressure, and in worst cases it may also lead to coma. The 60% of the magnesium content in our human body occurs in the skeletal tissues. If you see, magnesium dependent enzymes are involved in the transfer of phosphate and carboxyl group. How it is possible? The magnesium has a small size and electrophilic character. Because of this character of magnesium, it allows ionic bonding with phosphate and carboxyl groups and facilitate the attack of substrate by nucleophiles. So what is an electrophile? Electrophile is nothing but an electron lover or electron attractor. So that's all about the role of magnesium. And next we have to discuss about calcium. The dietary source of calcium is milk, cheese, leafy vegetables, legumes and sardine. Sardine is a type of fish. Content in human body is about 1.25 kg. The daily requirement is about 0.8 to 1 milligram. The deficiency of calcium may lead to rickets, osteoporosis and osteopenia. Rickets is mostly found in young people and osteoporosis in elders. So the excessive intake of calcium may lead to weakened bones, create kidney stones, interfere with your heart rate and brain work. So proper calcium amount is very much important for the proper rhythm of heart. 99% of the calcium occurs in bones. The calcium ion concentration in the cytoplasm is low and it is maintained by the ATPase. So it's actually not ATP, it is ATPase. It is a calcium pumping system and thereby preventing it from competing with magnesium ions for the active sites of enzymes. The lower hydration energy and less geometrical demands in complex formation are useful properties in rapid exchange of calcium between hydrated and bounded form. So we've already discussed about the lower hydration energy of calcium. It also has an added on value, that is less geometrical demands. It does not need any specific structure for binding with another important or useful atom. So that's a great advantage in calcium. So that's why the complex formation is very much easy, and the calcium can rapidly exchange from hydrated and bounded form. And calcium induces structural changes in calmodulin, troponin, sarcoplasmic reticulum proteins of animals. So we'll talk about the troponin. What is troponin? Troponin is actually a part of actin filament. So this troponin will be hiding the myosin binding site. So when a calcium molecule interacts with troponin, it will open the myosin binding sites and the muscle contraction can happen. So that's an example of calcium induced structural changes. And it triggers enzyme attack reaction of calcium activated kinases for lipolysis, glycolysis, and in postmortem activity of tissues. We all know about the rigor mortis, that is rigidness of human body happening up after the death of a person. It is all because of the calcium ions. The next important bulk mineral we are going to discuss about is phosphorus. It occurs in food as inorganic phosphate and organic esters. The content in human body is about 700 grams. The daily requirement of phosphorus is 0.8 to 1.2 grams. The deficiency of phosphorus may lead to rickets in children and osteomalacia in adults. An improper balance of phosphorus and calcium may cause osteoporosis. High level of phosphorus is related to the kidney disorder. It shows that your kidneys are having difficulty clearing phosphorus from your blood. High level of phosphorus can also mean uncontrolled diabetes and other endocrine disorders. So what is the role of phosphorus in human body? Bones act as a metabolic reserve for both phosphorus and calcium as well as a structural component. The stability of PO bond, that is phosphorus oxygen bond, and lower electronegativity of phosphorus permit the formation of stable organic esters and anhydrides like ATP and ADP. These esters, that is ATP and ADP, function as energy reservoirs for our human body. Without ATP and ADP, we cannot survive in this world. And finally, we have two important bulk minerals, that is organic nitrogen and sulfur. The source of organic nitrogen is proteins and amino acids present in food. The role of organic nitrogen in the human body is organic nitrogen occurs in the reduced state with 3 covalent bonds and lone pair of electrons. The odd base character facilitates the complex formation with metal ions in compounds having heterocyclic rings such as imidazole of histidine and pyrrole of porphyrin. So what is an odd base character? So an odd base will have non-polarizable atoms in it. For example, nitrogen. What is a non-polarizable atom? So here we have the image showing an unpolarized and a polarized atom. Nitrogen is an unpolarizable or non-polarizable atom, so only it is called as an odd base. So that's all about nitrogen, organic nitrogen. Now let us discuss about sulfur. The source of sulfur is mainly coenzyme A, glutathione, and the amino acids cysteine and methionine. Sulfur exists in the oxidation state from +2 to +6. In sulfur may be regarded as an alternative substitute for electronegative oxygen in organic compounds. If you see, the more electronegative nature of oxygen may attract electrons from atoms and create unwanted ionization. So to avoid this, the nature could have adapted with a replacement of oxygen with sulfur in some areas of human body. And if you see, sulfur is a soft base. So what is a soft base? It contains polarizable atoms. So here sulfur is a polarizable atom. So this is an example of a polarized atom. You can see the electron cloud of the atom is distorted. So as a result of electron cloud distortion, we are having a positive external charge at the side of electron denser cloud part, and we are having a negative external charge on the other side. These soft bases can react with soft Lewis acids such as ferrous ions, zinc and copper, and can form complexes. So what are these soft Lewis acids? These are nothing but large sized cations having positive charge. So the negative charge of the polarized sulfur may react with the positive charge of soft Lewis acid, and the sulfidal groups made up of sulfur participate in redox reaction, and sulfur atom forms disulfide bond to give structural stability to the proteins. So that's all about the bulk minerals. Here we have the information about the trace minerals. You can read them by pausing the video. So that's all for today's video. Thanks for watching. Stay tuned for more videos. don't forget to subscribe to our channel. Thank you.